Thank you so much for staying tuned. I made a promise before we went on that break. Talk about the first discussion segment. I'm going to having some members of the Vigilante here to join us. Somewhere along the line, they are being delayed. Maybe, hopefully, they can make it to the studio. We're going to have a chat with them. But I have other legal practitioner here with me in the studio, Barrister Alao Amin. Welcome to TMI on this edition.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate your coming.
Good morning, viewers.
Okay, you've already seen the man. You get to hear put food on the table. I know you have so much to say about this particular discussion. Obaraye Osahan, welcome to TMI on this edition. Of course, Happy New Year to you. All right. I choose to keep Barrister here because of his stand, and I told you that this is the reason why I said he should be here. He gave a very strong point. He said, you guys volunteered. How come you guys are changing the music? You said Vigilante is voluntary. You want to do it to protect the territorial integrity. How come you're not clamoring for payment? Okay, let me start off with Barrister Amin Alao. Let's take it from his own stand. He said these persons came together and they promised to do one or two things based on sacrifice. Nobody said they were going to be paid. And right now, people are clamoring for them to be paid. What's your take on it, sir?
Thank you very much. Yeah. I think to volunteer to render voluntary service is appreciated. And at the same time, when you embark on that service, and in the course of rendering the service, you felt you may require some assistance to improve your performance. There is also nothing bad in it if you make that known. The only thing is that you cannot compel anybody because you are volunteer to render the service. And now it now boils down to the society. You see, it's very unfortunate that we expect government to do everything. If my house goes down on fire, government. In fact, if mosquito bites some people, government. Meanwhile, we have people in the society who are well-to-do. But unfortunately, you see, many of the so-called philanthropists, they are only ready to also contribute to make voluntary donations. Okay, they are volunteers now. You can also make voluntary donations to the volunteers to assist them to improve the services they have decided to render for our general well-being. You see, Eagles defeated
Sudan yesterday 3-1.
If you are a good striker, you have good strikers. Your goalkeepers are defenders. You don't have goalkeepers and defenders. As you are scoring, they are equalizing. You are in trouble. So, if there is no proper security, security, you are there to make economics end meet, and then there is leakages. Vigilantes are not working. Those in the security areas, they are lacking and they are not performing. Whatever you have gone to fend for yourself, what you want to acquire for yourself will be collected from you by hoodlums. So you should appreciate the importance of your defenders, the vigilantes, the police, security agencies. So nothing should stop you from also giving voluntary donations to them. But unfortunately, the society is such that shows off. We like to show off. We rather like to go to places of worship where when you donate, it should be publicized and announced, and you are praised. Nobody wants to render for the sake of God. Meanwhile, the charity you give secretly for the sake of Almighty God is more rewarding than the one you gave openly. When you are applauded.
All right. Now, what I can take from what you said is, like, even if it's voluntary, you should do voluntary contribution also to aid them.
Yes.
Obaraye, over to you. From what Barrister said, you volunteered. Yeah. Why are you not changing the music?
Thank you so much. I think this is a very simple thing.
All right.
Security is not what you joke with. If people are volunteer to help secure an environment and the place has been secured, what needs to be done next is to compensate those people.
To compensate them?
Yes. And compensation is not once. At least give them stipends because they don't use wood in securing. These people sometimes use bullets, which is very expensive. I was told that it's like about 16,000 naira to buy a packet, which they use in securing the environment. and we can also have a system and a government who collects over 500 million for security and can dole out 50 to 100 million to give to those people really doing the job, not the written one. Now people on the street taking clue to the days of NSAS when the entire security network in Edo State was shut down and none of us went out. Even those that collected the millions monthly were all indoors. And these people came out to say, no, let's stop it. And they did it perfectly well within a month. The entire situation was brought down. We should say because they volunteered. If you also volunteer to become a governor, why are you not being paid? Seriously. If you also volunteer to become a House of Assembly member, how come our taxpayers' money is also being used for you? So those are also volunteer to say, let's secure the system. Should even be more seen. So say, let's reward these people. I think it's also happened in the days of Communist after Sali Oshobole. Where some people were given 20,000, 50, depending on where you are and your area of concentration. So, without my words, I'm a friend to these people, and I must tell you, their job is going on well. They are doing well. So, to me, if they also cry to say we need something, they should not be seen crying, because now what is saving us now is that though we still have some bad eggs amongst them, but tell me, my brother, do you know some of them just take it as their normal job? They don't want to do any other thing. I have friends now that live in the morning, take their bath, wear their normal black uniform, go to their office, and to say, what do you do? They say, I'm a vigilante. That person pays for house rent. That person has a child in a school. That person, the child in a government school, he has volunteered that to secure. The child is in a government school. The government will not say, because your father has volunteered to secure, let your child now also have free basic education.
All right.
Because you have now also volunteered, let us also volunteer to give your wife free healthcare. Let us also see where you people can go, because nothing should be factored. Even in Freetown, there's no free meal.
Hold on now. Barrister, over to you. You heard their points. Barrister Amin said, look, even if it's voluntary, you should volunteer also to give them something. And of course, he alleged that over 400 million security votes as against what Dr. Samuel Sibo said, alleges that over 700 million for security votes. I don't know the exact amount. That something can be taken out from that purse and at least help these people to help us feel secured. Over to you.
You see, to a very considerable extent, yes. I want to, my own opinion, appreciate the position of my respected colleague. It is clear you entered into it knowing full well there will be no stipends or anything paid. And my respected colleague was talking, he said, being a voluntary service, that there are some people in the community who these people are, safeguarding, that they can also give them something. He did not anchor it on the government. Obarai here is a respected man in the society, and I want to believe that he's also volunteering something to those in his community. And then why would those ones complain?
It's talking about the government right now.
Yes,
do something for these people.
What I'm saying is,
yes,
being a voluntary service, you should know that that is not a job. You must have a job. So anybody that is dependent on voluntary service, with due respect to you, is an extremely lazy person. How would you say you want to be dependent? You put something on nothing and expect it to stand.
Hold on, come again with that clause.
I said, if you want to start living on nothing, because voluntary organization is nothing. It's like putting something on nothing and expecting it to stand. This is a voluntary organization. You are not being paid for it. You wake up in the morning, you are depending on it. It means there's somewhere crooked where you make your money from. So that should not even come into play at all. You understand? And if we are saying that they are not being paid, the government is not looking towards that area, like I did say, your performance is at its best when it's voluntary. Why are people complaining about security agencies and all that are receiving good salaries? Because some of them receive salaries and they feel that, well, I'm just here because I have to keep ends, make ends meet. But when you volunteer, nobody forces you into it. it means you are ready to do it.
All right.
And that is what we are seeing. So it's not an issue of people are beginning to bridge. You said you would take it. You want to do it. Use your money to buy gun expensively. Bought cartridges to defend your environment. Let those in your environment appreciate you.
Over to you, Barrister Min. He's simply saying, look, it's not only about the government. You volunteered to do this, and if you're crying foul, so to speak, you are breaching the agreement.
You know, I maintain my earlier stand, and I would also like to adumbrate on it.
Yeah.
Now, the society we live in, unfortunately, the religious organizations are not helping issues. Yes. You see, people have been cornered to believe that some people are tax collectors, quote unquote, for Almighty God. Now, for you, for your charitable gift to be accepted, it has to pass through some channel, some clerics, before it can get to God. No. A man will leave his neighbor who is hungry. Please, I have not eaten breakfast. Get away, lazy man. Then you take millions of naira and go to donate in the church and the mosque. Because you want to be applauded. Or some will rather like to go to parties and spray those money. Now, unless we change our mindset and then places of worship, change people's orientation. You don't need to bring your tithe and offering to the church. You must not bring your zakat and sadaqah to the mosque. The man next to you there, your neighbor, help him. Of course, the vigilantes who are also guarding your environment, they are part and parcel of those you need to help. But because we are so greedy, if a man comes to my mosque and say, oh, I'm giving my zakat or sadaqah to the vigilante, you say you are very stupid. Why should you do that? I'm giving my tithe and offering to vigilante. Why should you do that? We are not encouraging it. And so, until people have that mindset that when you are talking of rendering service to Almighty God, it is not to show off. It has to be for the sake of God alone. And then for those members of the vigilante, if you observe that you are financially down, then since it's voluntary, of course, you have the option of taking some time off duty to resume your means of making livelihood. Then you can always come back. And then those of us who are at the ends of affairs, the politicians, it is not only when you are canvassing for votes that you now start displaying being charitable. See people who are securing your lives and properties. What are you out to do for them? So until there are people who like to benefit from the society, but they do not give anything in return. For example, okay, you are using a very nice phone, you drive a good car, you are benefiting. What is your own contribution? What some other contribute is, okay, they will litter the drainages with refuse. Some go to the extent of even vandalizing the rails. Some remove the manhole from drainages.
Because somebody is watching. And these guys, they are watching. Now, Barrister, they are talking about the contribution of the government.
Yes.
That seems to be the center of all this.
Yes.
What is the government really doing for them according to them? They said that, look, the government has done little or absolutely nothing that they are still expecting. If you go to various parts of the streets, you realize that the numbers are beginning to dwindle, like what I said at the opening, beginning to dwindle.
Now, you see, this brings us back to the issue of state police. Those who are clamoring for state police, that is what you expect. We want state police, you are not thinking of defunding. How will state police be funded? Yes, we want state police, so, you see, if you think government has money, government does not have money. Government is the greatest debtor. Government has made election promises for you, they cannot fulfill them. As if they are not aware. Apart from that, not only that the money is not available, those who are the ends of affairs, they are greedy. They are there for their own selfish interests. They are amassing wealth and investing in this country and even outside the country. They are not after your interest at all. As far as they are concerned, they have bought the vote. So it is their turn now to expend the resources.
All right.
Now,
Uncle, please.
To round up on that.
Yes.
If you have responsible government and you observe that the crime rate has dwindled, has reduced to the barest minimum. You need not be told that from your security votes, without even making any broadcast, you start servicing the vigilantes. And before you know what's happening, the news goes around the state. Oh, the government is giving us stipends. The government is helping us. So to remain on that argument that they volunteered, they should remain there, it's not, you see, we have law, moral, and religion.
I'll come back to you on that. Just hold on, I'll come back to you on that. Obaraye,
Yes.
he's saying that from what he said, some government officials, they feel for themselves only. And he just said there is no money, so to speak. That seems to be at the bottom of all this. Now let's work with the fact that the report we're hearing that the states are indebted. There is no money. Are you going to blame the government for not really giving stipends to these vigilantes?
That was my deposition first.
Yes.
Blaming them that they collect huge sum of money and they don't return it back. My prayer is that we should not have break in security any longer. If we have break in security any longer, I'm not sure the three of us can come here to speak. That's just the truth. So if we cannot also say these people should be giving something even when it's voluntary, I think some of us didn't experience the physical and security threat after the NSAS protest. Where boys were moving from house to house and looting. And nobody came out. Even the policemen ran for safety. So if after then some people came to say this thing must stop, I think in a sane society, streets should be named after these people because their life was put in danger. Somebody has volunteered to say something was sinking. Let's stop this thing not to sink, and their hands were up. And the next thing, they were able to push it back. Then none of us didn't go down. I would say, no, you get power pass. Why you for live and me for all of us? No. I get it. We experienced it. It was not taste like moonlight. We are small boys who wore police uniform from mobile market to moving from place to place. All of us were indoors. And so people went with their money, bought bullets, bought guns, and came out and fought these people with their barrels. And after everything, so people now will sit down drinking crystal champagne with our taxpayers' money and tell me they cannot go down to say, okay, instead of crystal champagne, let's share a bottle of ever wine. The remaining one for that crystal champagne, let's share it 5,000. Let us see these people complaining to say what government is giving to them is not enough. Not give it to them. Because it's volunteer, they should go home. Just saying it's easy. And it is a volunteer, then go home. If vigilante leaves ring grow today in the morning, before the evening, that's the end. I'm telling you, don't let us laugh over it. Because the reason is because, let me tell you the truth. Our policemen are not after those that do crime. They are after those Yahoo boys and their brand new cars.
Well, you're not beginning to generalize. You're beginning to generalize. No. You're beginning to generalize.
Yeah,
many policemen will not agree to your comments.
I don't. This.
Yeah.
Also see, these people too, when kidnapping became worse off in Benin Poma Road, policemen were out there day in, day out. My younger brother, not far, was among those that went to that forest in the bypass, that went there and said what they saw there is not what they can say out. Ask your crime reporters on your station here. Vigilantes were at the forefront from those communities. Their vigilantes were at the front to make sure this thing was well done. The people with them that came with their official cars, taxpayers' money, month ending they will receive money, were at the back. So me, I'm the one that have a brother that will not be paid, that will be at the front. Then you have a brother that will receive and the police is also guiding. And month ending, all of us, our sweat, they will use it to pay. No, now we lose the government is poor. If government is poor, how come they use millions? Now people are buying private jets to a campaign. If government is poor, why is everybody going in if it's poor? If government is poor, why don't put laws together to say you have said somebody said 700 million. Me, I'm not even saying, I'm saying 5. Let's go for 500. My brother, 100 million out. Take 10,000 or 20,000, divide it by 100 million. I'm not too good at maths, though I read engineering, but I'm sure it will take over 10,000 persons.
All right,
from the streets.
Okay, so now he gave the classical example of what happened when Vigilantes were leading security outfits to go checkmate bandits, to go checkmate kidnappers. They were the one in front. They buy their own gun, they buy their own bullets. You know how expensive things are. Don't you think you should have a rethink, so to speak? Despite the fact they said it's voluntary, come on, something should be done for them.
You see, in the first instance, he said that the vigilantes were in front. I didn't say that. I'm also not aware of that. I don't know if you saw it. He's the one that saw it. He's the one that is saying it. I am an Isha man. Whenever I'm going to my village, I always see soldiers and policemen.
And you don't see vigilantes?
I don't see vigilante. I have to tell you the truth. I've traveled day, I've traveled night. You get what I'm saying? So, my brother also said that if the vigilantes leave Ring Road will collapse. I've been in this state for close to 50 or 51 years as we speak. Vigilantes just only came up months ago. I've not seen Ring Road collapse. And I'm beginning to wonder how come it will collapse now because they have just come on board. So if we are certain things, I don't want to play certain things. My position is simple. It is quite simple. I am not saying the government should not give them something. But whatever the government give them, they should see it as a privilege, not a right. Because when you were covenanting with the government with regards to starting the vigilante, salary was not part of it.
All right.
Why are you dragging salary into it now?
Okay.
And if I may, would you respect?
Hold on. You continue with your line of thought after this break. We'll return to get to hear from both parties. I choose to retain for this particular reason. Let's get to hear for and of course against the reason why these persons should be encouraged. You can call it stipend, you can call it salary, but are they doing a good job? We'll be right back. Don't go away.